Tonight's meeting, 20th of January, 2015. I'm Vice Mayor Casello, and this is my first meeting, so please bear with me. We'll have a roll call, please.
Mayor Taylor. Vice Mayor Casello.
Here.
Commissioner Merker. Commissioner McCray.
Here.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Here. Thank you. Please make a note that the city manager and mayor are up in Tallahassee on legislative days up there. We'll have the invocation given by Commissioner McCray and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Fitzpatrick. Please stand.
Let us bow. O most holy and eternal God, Lord, the creator maker of all mankind. Father, once again, we come first recognizing that thou art God, and besides thee, there is no other. As we partake this afternoon in the business of this city, we ask that you continue to govern us, lead us, and guide us, and let us do the right thing for all.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Mayor, excuse me, before we go any further, you said that this was your first meeting. It's not your first meeting. It's your first meeting serving in that capacity, sir, for the record. Thank you.
Already I've made a mistake. Thank you, Commissioner. Any additions, deletions, corrections?
I would like to pull off the consent agenda the meetings of January 6 minutes.
Okay, and I like to pull out of the consent agenda, I like to pull 6B for a little bit of discussion. Any informational items by the members of the City Commission? We'll start with the Commissioner McCray.
Excuse me, first I'd like to accept the agenda as it has been amended.
Thank you. You've done this before.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Okay, informational items. Commissioner McCray?
Yeah, just before we get started, you know, I've done it before, but I'm not the oldest one up here. We got to get that straight for the record. Just kidding. First of all, I attended the Boynton Beach Wildcats banquet that was held on Sunday before last. And I was kind of a little disappointed because I was the only elected official that was there. And we're always having the boys and girls stand up down here when they do something great. And it seemed to me by us not being there to support them was a letdown, not only for them, but for me as well. But they got through it. They had a great time. So maybe next year when we get an invitation, we all can attend. Okay, I met at Galaxy Elementary School with our governor, Governor Rick Scott, and our lieutenant governor. Had a great time. Had a chance to speak at the MLK ceremony, which was held downtown at our amphitheater. I attended the MLK celebration at Benvenuto's. And with that, that's about it.
Thank you. Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Since the last meeting, we attended the CRA meeting and also the chamber luncheon on January 13th. And I hate this phone. And after that, let's see. I also attended the remarks by the governor and lieutenant governor where he announced an increase in funding on education at Galaxy Elementary. That January 15th, I went on the Metropolitan Planning Organization rolling retreat, which started at 9:30 and went to 3:45. Was basically taking a tri-rail from West Palm down to Boca, some bus rides, and then into Delray and a bus ride from Delray back to through Lake Worth back to West Palm Beach. Then we had the South Central Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant meeting, and following that had the South Central Wastewater Treatment Plant Pension Board meeting, and also Forest Park Homeowners Association meeting. And then on January 17th did the Martin Luther King March, and followed by the Great Gatsby Chamber of Commerce dinner. And then on the Sunday, January 18th, went to Great Boynton Beach Democratic Club meeting recognizing State Representative Lori Berman, and that night the Martin Luther King Memorial Banquet. And then on yesterday, Monday, went to the Boynton Beach Historical Society meeting where they talked about how Ocean Ridge separated from Boynton Beach. And that's it.
Thank you. I was proud to be part of the family from the city's contingency that attended the Galaxy School, where Governor Scott and the Lieutenant Governor were there to make announcements on how they're increasing funding for our school children, up to $261 more this year per child. That was great. I also participated in the Martin Luther King parade, and I can say that it was a great turnout compared to last year, and I look forward to that increasing every year forth. So that was all good. Okay, announcements and community and special events.
Excuse me, sir. Before we move on, tomorrow morning, from 8 to 12, I will be at Palm Beach State College. I will be attending a mandatory. I say a mandatory ethics committee workshop. That's for all elected officials. Already done one. I guess this will be the next one I have to go through. But anyway, I'll be there representing the citizens of Boynton. Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder. I think we're supposed to be there too.
Yeah, you all are supposed to.
It's always, you never have enough ethics training. For announcements, community and special events presentation, we'll have Julie come up. Let's move Boynton forward.
Good evening. I'm Julie Oldberry, Director of Human Resources and Risk Management. The City of Boynton Beach is participating in the 3rd annual Let's Move, Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge. This is based on the First Lady, Michelle Obama's initiative to raise a healthier generation of children. Last year in Palm Beach County, the City of Boynton Beach logged over 100,000 minutes and was named Team Champion. So far, with only 10 days to go, Team Boynton has logged 32,000 minutes. So I am urging everyone in the community to help us reclaim this title by participating in this campaign, which runs until January 31st. It is so easy to participate. How easy is it? Just complete 30 minutes. Just complete 30 minutes or more of sustained physical activity and log your minutes for Team Boynton Beach at the following website, cbs12.com/Let's Move. I have flyers with all of the information on the back table, and I would really encourage all of you to get moving and participate in this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. The first City Commission meeting held in March will be held on Monday, March 2nd, 2015, to accommodate the City Commissioners who will be attending the Palm Beach County Days in Tallahassee. So the March meeting will be that Monday, March 2nd, instead of that Tuesday. The announcement of the International Kinetic Art Exhibit, Debbie?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Debbie Coles-DeBay, Public Art Manager for the City of Boynton Beach. And the February 6th through 8th International Kinetic Art Exhibit and Symposium is a free event that appeals to all ages, whether you're an art lover or not. The purpose of the event is to connect the global community to one-of-a-kind kinetic art experiences right here in Boynton Beach. There are a couple of those experiences I'd like to go over real brief. We have 16 iconic kinetic artworks. Hopefully you've seen them outside already. There'll be 60 indoor kinetic artworks. Kinetic Connections is an art installation in our majestic kapok tree. And STEAM, which is Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. They're learning-based workshops for youth and exhibitions. And kinetic art influence technological advancements and innovations and engaging educational presentations. And it all begins tomorrow at the Palm Beach County Convention Center, where we have Art Palm Beach Week. And we're going to be promoting the International Kinetic Art Exhibit and Symposium at the Kinetic booth, number 713. So put that on your calendar for tomorrow. I have some passes in the back for you, for free VIP passes or for all week-long passes. And we're also hosting an Art in Public Places presentation called Pathways to Kinetic Art. Like I said, I had the VIP passes, and also in the back there's fresh off the press, the kinetic art programs that are produced, so you can see all the activities that are going on. And I'll pass these to the commission. Can you pass them down, please? Thank you. And then also I would like to just show a very short video of what you can expect. So Terry, would you please play the video? really get a lot of enjoyment out of banging that thing. Solar-powered generation kinetic art. Thank you. So hope to see you all there on Saturday, February 7th. It starts at 9 to 6 p.m. and Sunday, February 8th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thank you.
Terry, just real quick, all these art pieces, are they for sale? Can people purchase these?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
And the percentage of the sale benefits our program.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to public audience. Individual speakers will be given 3 minutes to talk about anything that's not on the present agenda. So please come up to the podium, state your name and address, and use your 3 minutes wisely, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Leon Jenkins. I reside at 16049.
Push your mic up. We can hardly hear you.
I reside at 16049 Rio del Sol in Delray Beach, Florida. I'm here to discuss a demolition ordered for a building that I own here, with the address being 132 Northwest Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. I know we only have 3 minutes, but in this particular case, it is a financial crisis, and it will be a financial crisis for me. I can only do 2. Commissioner McCray, what I'm going to present to you, if you could pass it down. What I have here is 3 photos of the building that is to be demolished. The reason you need to know it's going to be demolished is because I missed the January 12th deadline to get the building in a safe condition. I do disagree with that assessment, and I also disagree with the deadline being an appropriate deadline, because there were extenuating circumstances, which I know I don't have much time, but I'll be able to get to it. Here are the photos of the exterior of the building, and I think one interior, and perhaps you can make some judgment yourself. What transpired, and I'm I'm really appreciative for Attorney Sheriff's contribution at the November 7th appeals hearing. This building was actually scheduled for demolition, and I had to make an appeal to the appeal board, and Attorney Sheriff was very instrumental in my getting time. There have been some financial issues, and he took that in consideration, and he gave me more time. He advised that I needed more time, especially with the holidays, the Christmas holidays and the New Year holidays. And once again, the deadline was January 12th.
Go ahead, continue, just finish up.
This is the most important piece, so I want to make sure that each commissioner, everyone, had a chance to look at what I have highlighted. Is there any issue with seeing what I have highlighted? I have a date where the permit was applied, and I have a date highlighted. And Attorney Sheriff, I really don't think you are aware. That's why I'm bringing it to everyone's attention, because I know you were very, very supportive at that hearing, and you wanted to see me finish the project. Okay, what transpired at this particular hearing, once I was given permission to move forward and remedy whatever needed to be remedied for this building, I was told at this particular hearing that all of my paperwork, which would have been stamped, approved plans, the contractors application, everything that, in fact, I could not even attend the hearing without having this information a month or so in advance in the hands of the building department. The building department had all of my plans, all the drawings, everything that was needed to move forward. So at the end of the hearing, it was determined that from that point on, I could move forward. If you look at that permit, it says that the date the permit applied, we applied for the permit, I think was November 7th, November 8th. What is that there? November 7th. And it says also the date the permit was issued was December 19th. We had until January 12th with this particular order that was issued at this hearing. We had until January 12th to do the work. If you look at the permits, you see there's electrical permit, there's plumbing permit, there's mechanical permit. We had to basically bring this building in a condition that you would expect for new construction, new wiring, new plumbing, drywall, tile, etc., etc. So what occurred is that we had to climb Mount Everest. We started on November 8th thinking that we were going to get started, and I know I don't have time, but the bottom line, as you can see, is that the permit was not issued until January 19th. As I said earlier, Attorney Sheriff at this meeting said, listen, during the Christmas holidays, during New Year's, he's going to lose time. Initially, they were thinking maybe like January 4th. He said, let's give them to January 12th. So we started December 19th. We had 3, 4, 5, 6 electricians. We had a number of plumbers. We knew we were up against it. But we pursued diligently. But when you take away 2 days, Christmas Eve and Christmas, and you take away New Year's Eve and New Year's, if you add up, the permit was issued on the 19th of December, so we didn't get it until the 20th. So that means you got 11 days in December, and you've got 12 days in January. You take away those 4 holidays, so that's less than 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks, and at this point in time, the building department is moving forward with the demolition of the property. I know I have to go, but I have to add one personal item to it. One personal item. Unfortunately, the building has a loan on it. The lender also is the same lender that I have for my house. So what we're dealing with is a judgment that somehow I have to contend with and figure out, hopefully, that this doesn't have any connection with, it's not good. So I'm asking the commissioners to see if there's a way that, because of this, what appears to be a large period of time where I could not even start, perhaps I can just get a little more time. I don't know how Attorney Chernoff feels about it, because I don't know whether he was privy to this information. I just don't know. So I'm really glad he's here today so he can at least be privy to what has occurred. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Harry Woodworth. Live at 685 Northeast 15th Place in Boynton. I'm the newly elected president of the Inca organization, Inlet Cove Association, and I just wanted to come by this evening and spend 3 minutes to give you a 100,000-foot flyby shout out of the organization that we have over here. I think Commissioner McCrae is pretty familiar with us since we're mostly in his district. Inca is a voluntary neighborhood association. Been chartered for over 20 years in the community, mostly voluntary work that we do. We have 9 waterfront communities that we represent, east of Federal Highway and north of Boynton Beach Boulevard. Most of the communities over there are part of Inca, roughly 500 households, give or take a little bit. Our goal is mostly to, and we're not a political organization per se, we take sides occasionally, but mostly we're just trying to encourage our residents to participate in their community, engage in what's going on, provide updates on what's happening in the community, proactively participate with the city in various committees and city staff functions so that people know what's happening. A lot of people don't get the newspaper, don't know what's going on. Until you see them over here by the hundreds wearing red shirts wondering what happened here. So we try to avoid some of that kind of stuff. Basically, we just want to improve the quality of life in our community, our neighborhoods, and, city's a good place to live, and it can be better, and we'd like to participate in that. Currently, the kind of issues just, nothing urgent, but the kind of issues that we keep our eye on are the state of North Federal Highway. Some examples might be that wonderful Yachtsman Plaza. Where's the police? The police guys all know where that's at. It's been a mess for 10 years, and hopefully the new sale will do something. Issue like the double row of poles we have now that they took down the old wires, put up the new ones. They've left us with the old poles. I'll probably die before those old poles are pulled out of there, but at least I can take a run at that. Some other stuff, the trash at the bus stops. There's a drainage project that the city's undertaking south of the C-16 canal, east of Federal. We're trying to get the scope of work, and a kind of a schedule for that so residents know what's coming. Somewhat of an elusive thing, trying to get that, but we're trying. I'd like to introduce some of our officers real quick. We have them sitting here. Lulu DeCamera was our secretary. She's the past president. She lives on East Drive. She's been in Boynton Beach 50 years. Just say hi. Our treasurer is Pam Keith. Pam's home babysitting tonight, but she lives on Shore Drive. She's been here 15 years. We have our vice president, Genevieve Morris, who's been here 20 years, lives on South Road. Sorry about that. And myself, I mentioned previously, I've been here about 30 years, so I think we're not as old as we look, but most of us moved here as children. I just want to wrap up here. I'd like to thank everybody. The city's been very supportive of our organization. Commissioner McCray and a number of the other commissioners and the mayors and stuff have been supportive. I'd like to thank you guys for that. And we just look forward to more of the same going forward as we try to work these issues that we have in common. I think we all have a shared vision that, Boynton Beach is a pretty cool place to live. It could be a lot cooler, and we'd like to do what we can to do that. So thank you.
Thank you for your involvement.
Right, Vice Mayor, excuse me, before you leave, you can go ahead. But anyway, in regards to Yachtman Plaza, okay, that has been sold. The owner has given them, I got calls from the tenants. They got 15 days to vacate, so they're moving. So we're already working. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners and Board. My name is Betty Pierce Rowe, 637 Oak Street. I'm on the Board of Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, have been for 17 years. Also been a director of INCA for 17 years, and have been a resident of Boynton for 30. I would like just to inform and invite everybody that is here that we will be having our 3rd annual barrier-free 5K charity walk and run. It will be held on Saturday, February 14th. The start time's at 7:30 a.m. We're also going to be having a kids' 100-yard dash. That start time is at 9. I don't know if everyone knows where the barrier-free park is. It's on Congress Avenue. It's a park that's designed with the needs of children and adults with disabilities in mind, and it's the only park of its kind in the county. Proceeds from this race will go towards the expansion of this beautiful park. I hope everybody gets to go and see it. They'll also be having a single runner walk, a wheelchair division, and the kids' 100-yard, as I said previously. I also, as the chair, would like if the commission or the board would take in consideration to have the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board included in any decisions, or if you have any questions to ask us in reference to the Lake Ida property. As I said, I've been on the board for many years. I know there's a lot of properties that are out there, and they are not made into parks initially. This is something that we were looking for as our greenways, our blueways, or other types of parks that are in the area. So I hope that before this comes to the board, that you do get in touch with us at the advisory board.
I'm sure the commission will be using the advisory board as a sounding board, and your opinions are valued. Also, I'd like to say that I participated in the last year's barrier run, and it was a great turnout, and I hope we have another successful one this year.
I believe that they will. Thank you very much.
As long as I can beat Woodrow Hay, I'll be okay.
Thank you again, and you guys have a great night.
The next Rec and Park Board meeting isn't it January 26th, Monday?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Black, and I live at 321 Southwest 1st Avenue, and I'm going to try not to cry this time. After I spoke at the last commission meeting, there was an article printed in the Palm Beach Post that contained quite a few untruths. First, the city removed 11 trees from my property, and Duffy was told after they cut the first tree, they did not have my permission to remove the trees, and they still continued to cut. And there wouldn't be a problem if they had stopped after they were told when they first took down the first tree. The section of the sidewalk that was pushed up had no stress cracks. The sidewalk that was properly installed was perfectly fine. And the sidewalk was removed after the pipes were installed, not before. The tree roots were never cut. The trees have been there for over 50 years, and I have pictures to show that they've been there that long. And they were trimmed 10 foot up from the sidewalk and were maintained. These trees were 127 feet from my back corner of my house, so I want to know how these trees were a hazard to me, and the city was doing me a favor by taking them down. I never agreed to have the trees removed. I said I would think about it when I was given the information about what they were going to replace my trees with. And if my trees were against code, why wasn't I cited by code compliance and given a chance to correct it? I had been cited once before by code compliance for my trees, and my trees were 100% in compliance with code. I know this because I was cited. There are numerous trees in the work area that are against code and are pushing up the sidewalk that have not been removed from private property. One of my neighbors, whose trees are on the city right-of-way, they dug up the road to install the pipes. My trees were on private property. They did not have to be removed to put those pipes in. The pipes were put in before they removed the sidewalk and my trees. My question is still, why target my home, my trees? I feel like I just wasted 15 years of my life because the city has destroyed my oasis. I would welcome anyone to walk with me within 2 blocks of my property, and I'll show you where the sidewalk's coming up and other trees are destroying city property. And these trees are all staying there and they're working around them. And at this time, there is still no agreement between me and the city about what they're going to do to replace my trees and where my property was destroyed. Because not only did they take the trees out, they cleared my property 20 feet back and removed everything else in the path. You know? And what I want from the city is I want mature trees. I don't want little sticks. I want my sound, sight, dirt barrier, and I want my shade back. The city did install a new driveway apron for me in my front yard because I can't drive in my backyard without crying still. So thank you.
Thank you. I know that there were some missteps taken on the city's part, and we will do our best to remedy that. But thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Suzanne Ross, Schoolhouse Children's Museum. To give you an update, December was once again a strong month and helped us end the calendar year ahead of 2013. A couple of highlights for 2014 is over the previous year, we saw an overall increase in visitation of 12.7%. Admission income increased 8.3%, and we had 489 member families enjoying the museum exhibits, activities, and programs compared with 408 in 2013. That's almost a 20% increase in memberships. January has also started out on a very positive territory so far this month. We are also looking forward to a busy 2015, not only hands-on, minds-on, creative fun, and unique events, but some new and exciting partnership opportunities. Two notable upcoming partnerships are the Legal Aid Society and the JCC of Boynton Beach. In February, both of these organizations are hosting events at the museum. They'll be providing significant exposure for the museum and the Ocean Avenue District, as well as bringing hundreds of people to the area, many of whom have never been there before. Lastly, as a reminder, we ask that you save the date for February 28th, 2014 for the Schoolhouse Reunion Bash, bringing together the community, former Boynton Beach school students, and museum supporters for an evening and daytime event in support of the museum. Join us during the day for an old-time carnival games and activities from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Those activities are free. And in the evening, join Channel 5's weekend anchor and reporter Tanya Rogers and honorary chairpersons Nain and Curtis Weaver for a reception, including live music, food, libations, silent auction, and a few surprises. Invitations go in the mail later this week. Articles are appearing in the media, and you will begin seeing posters around town. Tickets are $75 for the evening reception and may be purchased at the museum or on our website. Thank you. We hope to see you there.
Doing a great job over there. You really turned it around, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Minister Bernard Wright of Bernard Wright Ministries, 713 Northwest 2nd Street. I'd like to first thank the Commission, everybody in their respective places. I thank the Historic Preservation Board, and I personally want to thank Mr. Warren Adams for the great work he has done thus far on this ongoing historic research project. We have really gained great ground. It was a sad thing looking at this parade we had. We should have greater next year, but it's a problem with dissemination of information. People just didn't know. And I think we need to start preparing very early, like perhaps even now, for something of that nature. But I want to speak. I was waking out my bed by Mr. Leon here. He's a personal friend of mine. We grew up together, played football together in this town. He's a property owner of this town, a native of this town. I talked to Mayor Taylor today about this situation, and it's a mess up there. And I tell you what the city is really trying to do, and I really don't appreciate it because I lost property here, and I'm a historic character here. And I really don't appreciate what they're trying to do. I've looked over the paperwork myself. I reviewed that. And it's just a matter of, this is a government of the people for the people, and this is a property owner, and he's about 95% in rehabbing this property. I even have a son that has degrees in this thing, and I think I see he sees some illegal stuff going on. But beside that, I think as a human being first, and as a native of Boynton Beach secondly, and having placed this money into this apartment building, demolition would not only be a financial burden on them, but the CRA would get the property cheap. Not only that, it brings the property value down. Not only that, it interferes with his livelihood. As a Boyntonian, we shouldn't, as citizens, have to go through changes, as I'm hearing this lady going through about her trees. To God be the glory. I mean, and I don't see no response. He got up here, he pleading about his case, but they're still going on doing what they're doing. I saw him take the water regulator out of there today. Apparently having a mindset to go in and just demolish this man's property. If it happened to him, it'll happen to others. It has happened to me. I don't know what the city going to do in compensation about that historic property, but at any rate, I'm pleading. Mayor Taylor told me to see you today and to give them your phone number and to have you interfere. And so I'm expecting that be stopped. To God be the glory. Y'all get some resolve in this, because we are citizens and we put y'all in these elected offices, and this is what we expect. We expect some intervention. To God be the glory.
Hello, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. My name is Doug Brueggemann, 713 Southeast 4th Street. I come tonight to share some gratitude. Seacrest Estates neighborhood wants to thank Jeff Livergood and Wally Majors for installing a new grill. Thank you very much. It's very appreciated. We're going to have a nice big barbecue one day and break that grill in. The Forest Park Neighborhood Association wants to thank Commissioner Fitzpatrick for participating in our neighborhood meetings. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. We'd like to thank Chief Katz. Thank you, by the way, for letting Officer Swan attend our neighborhood meetings and make our neighborhoods and city a safer place. That's appreciated. And also, thank you for Liz, too, from Animal Control. She's been awesome for many years, and she knows all the problems right away and takes care of the problems. And I also want to remind the Commission to start training now, because February 14th is right around the corner, and some of you didn't do that well. Thank you.
You're laughing. The room's better.
Hello, my name is Albert Williams. I'm a property manager, and I do property maintenance. I've done a lot of property maintenance for Mr. Leon Jenkins, and I've known how hard he's been working. We're trying to preserve his property.
Excuse us. You gave us your name, but you didn't give us your address.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at 136 Northeast 12th Avenue here in Boynton. I've been here in Boynton for 10 years since I came down from Pittsburgh 10 years ago. I've been working for Jefferson Properties, Miss Doris Dean, or Doris Jefferson. I managed and maintained her properties until she passed. Now it's under DJV Development. But in part-time, I do maintenance also for Mr. Jenkins, and who I'm here trying to tell you about, that he has been working very hard and very diligently. I think it's very unfair that they would give him 30 days or so many days in order to complete a project, and then hold him up on completing that project by delaying his license and the permits. And me as a contractor myself, I couldn't see how he managed to accomplish as much as he did. But I guess that's why he's so stressed out right now, because he's been working overtime in order to complete this project, trying to do everything within the specifications of the code enforcement and the City Building Commission. So I would like him to consider the fact that, yeah, he might have fallen a week or two short, but he's putting effort and money into this project and trying to complete it in a professional manner, not just in a itsy manner, but in a very professional manner. And for that, I thank you for my time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gail Jenkins, and I live at 16049 Rio del Sol in Delray Beach. Leon is my husband. We were given permission to go ahead and remodel the property on November 6th through January 12th. However, we had a delay with approval of plans. The plans were returned for revision at least 4 times. We had also delays with inspections 3 or 4 days before we were to actually complete the project. We're 90% completed. We're objecting to the intention to go ahead with the demolition. We're asking for more time to complete it. Had the inspections occurred in time, by last Monday, January 12th, the project would have been completed. We had no control over the delay in inspections. We had no control over the delay with approval of the plans, and we're asking that we be allowed to complete the project. And I think it would take us less than a week.
Thank you.
Daniel Spots, 805 North Federal Highway, Boynton Beach. I'm a small business owner in downtown. I had attended the CRA meeting last week. I was sort of saddened and disappointed by the overall results. I intended to make some what I thought were constructive comments tonight, but since some of them involve Mayor Taylor, Commissioner Merker, and Vivian Brooks, and they're not all here tonight, I think I'll wait until they can be here. I would like to say, in the past 2 weeks since we were here last, 2 more businesses have closed or moved out of the downtown. Jimmy's Barbershop in Mr. McCrae's district, bright and shining light in more ways than one on Federal Highway the past few years, is gone. The Glass Menagerie, or Glass Mermaid on Old Ocean, or on Ocean, just west of the railroad tracks, FEC railroad tracks. It's 21 businesses since All Aboard Florida announced that they were going to be full speed ahead in developing downtown. Yesterday, a woman was killed on the FEC railroad tracks in Boca Raton. I'm asking again that the City Commission take seriously the threat that this project poses to the city. We have had, at least I have had no response on what we're going to try and do about declining property values, the safety concerns of the residents. That person died yesterday even though there's a crossing gate, even though there's a train horn. I also want to remind commissioners that the new Congress in Washington, the Republican Congress, has announced, according to NPR, that they wish to delay positive train control regulations that were being put in place. That was the one reason why supposedly the All Aboard Florida people were going to be allowed to, or were encouraging, or at least claiming that they were going to have these quiet zones going through here. But there's no real agreement for that. If those regulations get pushed back another year or 2, I don't know that there's anything that will require them to go forward with their quiet zones, so-called. And it doesn't affect the people who routinely cross the railroad tracks that aren't at crossing gates without a warning horn, without anything. So I'm deeply concerned, and I hope we can take time to address this issue more thoroughly. Thank you.
Thank you. See no further public comment? Closed.
Vice Mayor, excuse me, before we move, I'd like to ask counsel in regards to the statements that was made by Mr. Jenkins. I know that we're not supposed to address citizens from the dais, but I'm just saying a lot of citizens is trying to figure out what is going on, what has went on, so that we all be on the same page. Can you give us some enlightenment, since you're counsel for the city, what is really going on?
Certainly, Commissioner.
Thank you.
The building official issued a stop work order and an order of demolition a number of months ago, back in November, prior to November, actually. The demolition order was appealed to the Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals, a separate body of the commission that was established by the commission by ordinance, but they have independent authority to hear appeals of decisions of the building official. They did hear the appeal, and on November the 15th, they did actually on September the 26th, when the appeal was filed, they did appear before the Building Board of Adjustment and an order was issued. The content of that order was that there was a finding that it was an unsafe structure, not suitable for habitation, and that the demolition order of the building official would stand, but it was abated until January the 12th, 2015. The board heard all of the testimony of the Jenkins at that particular time. They were represented by counsel, and Mr. Jenkins is correct. There was a discussion by the board to set an earlier compliance date, and I did feel that that was not in the best interest of the city and the Jenkins as well, and did request that the board extend the compliance date to January the 12th, which they ultimately did. It's contained in their order. The operative part of the order says, in the event the applicants, that would be the Jenkins, failed to remedy the unsafe condition of the building by January the 12th, the building official is authorized to proceed with the demolition of the structure. And that is what is occurring now. The building official has made the determination that there was not timely compliance, that the building is unsafe, and the demolition process is proceeding.
Let me make sure that I understand. Okay. The date that they applied was November the 7th, 14th, and it was issued December the 19th, 14th. I'm just saying they had prior time to get in to get this, or is this something that we slacked on?
I don't believe the city made any errors in the process of the permits. It's very common that when plans are submitted for the issuance of a permit, that they're kicked back to the applicant or the applicant's contractor because there is something lacking in them in terms of detail. And you'll note, of course, that the application for the permit preceded the Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals hearing. So the Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals was aware that a permit had been applied for, and that's why they built an additional time for compliance. I believe there has been sufficient time, but that determination, of course, is something that's left to the building official to answer to and to decide.
So legally, what is the city stand now? Can we stop anything, or has we been issued a demolition by Palm Beach County?
The demolition order actually comes from the city, not from the county.
Okay.
The city's obligation at this particular point, and when I say the city, I mean the commission, myself, the building official, is to honor the order that the Building Board of Adjustment entered back in November.
Okay, so if we do the demolition, will Mr. Jenkins get any funds? That's what I'm trying to,
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody from the city want to address that? Any? No? Okay. Thank you. Okay, public audience is closed. We'll do administrative, appoint eligible members. There are none, so we can bypass that. Onto the consent agenda, I made a motion to pull 6B. 6B. Did you pull it? Did you have something?
Yeah, I'm not sure which, the approval of the minutes, which was J.
All right, 6B and 6J have been pulled from the consent agenda. Okay. All right, I guess I'll go first on the B. And the question I have here, this Copper Top Brewery here, $100,000. As you know, I was a big advocate for them to come into the city. But I just want to know this grant that we're giving them, this $100,000. What's that going to entail? What's that going to get? What are we going to get for our buck?
We're going to, Octavia Sherrod, Community Development Manager. The incentive, the funds are being given, and the business is going to produce above minimum wage jobs. We're going to have some requirements. They're going to be working with organizations and employ members of the community for our dollars.
Okay, so when you say above minimum wage, could you give me like a figure, and how many members of the community are they going to employ?
I'm going to bring them up.
Okay, great.
introduce to you. And
But as they're coming, our backup said it's 30 above minimum wage.
Right.
Okay.
Introduce yourselves.
My name is Matthew Cox. I'm owner and brewmaster of Copper Top Brewery. I live at 7686 Spatter Dock Drive here in Boynton. Been a resident of Boynton for 15 years now.
Al Latera, 528 Squire Drive, Wellington, Florida. Member of Copper Top Brewery, soon to be Copper Point. So in reference to the job creation report, we provided basically a forecast of types of positions. The positions in the brew house, which is where we're doing the manufacturing of the beer, which will include full-time labor, which includes someone like Matt, who's been schooled, trained in this. We recommend and we foresee upwards of 5 people working in the brew house in year 1. In the tasting room, which is more of a part-time, but not necessarily just part-time, because we'd have to have managers of the bar and well, not the restaurant, but the bar, would roughly be about 8 people in year 1. And then ultimately in the office side and the supply chain distribution marketing side of things, we see 2 in year 1, which brings us to roughly 15 jobs in year 1. In year 2, we see 8 full-time people in the brew house supporting the manufacturing. And to give you an idea, it's not just guys stirring a bunch of beer and drinking a bunch of beer. I mean, we're talking about high-end people that understand the scientific process of measuring the alcohol content of beer. We're talking about people that understand how to set up things like bottling lines so that when we're manufacturing large volumes of beer, they understand how those processes work and how the equipment can be set up. So if you come to the brew house right now and see the facility being constructed, you'll understand and see the actual sheer engineering side of what it is we're trying to accomplish. We see 10 in the tasting room in year 2, and then ultimately starting to expand our back office area, which is going to include more supply chain and marketing and distribution jobs, to 4, which would take us to 22 positions. In year 3, we see 12 in the brew house, 12 in the tasting room, and roughly 6 in the office supply chain marketing distribution area, which would take us to roughly 30 positions. We've substantiated that with the CRA, with the community, to explain to them and show them how the barrel creation and the manufacturing creation will actually add to those additional jobs. We've worked with the local distributors to get an understanding for what we think the capacity could be in the market, and we ultimately sold these numbers to the investors that are supporting the business. So, Commissioner and Vice Mayor, hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. I just got this block grant that we have.
Yes.
Is that $100,000 of a $185,000 block grant? Seems like a lot of money for one company. Is that something that?
$100,000 is a lot of money, but as far as HUD standards are concerned, we're getting way more jobs for the buck than which is really allowable. And technically, they can do a minimum of 3 or 4 jobs, which would be okay with the federal guidelines. So I think we're getting a lot of money, a lot of jobs for the investment that we're putting in. And our conversations with them, we're going to be working with local nonprofits with their programs where they're doing where they're training low-income people how to sustain themselves. So they'll be employing people who we're trying to bring back into society and raise the quality of their lives.
Working in a brewery?
Well, a job is a job, and I'm sure they're not allowed to drink on the job.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission. Nancy Byrne, Development Director. I just wanted to point out 2 things. It's a very scientific thing. I've sat and I've talked to some of the brewers, and there's a whole bunch of chemistry and science involved in brewing beer. It makes my hair blow back when they start to tell me how that wonderful stuff that we all love to drink gets to where it is. The second thing is about the CDBG funds. It's a lengthy process. It's a contract. There aren't a lot of employers that are willing to go under the scrutiny that it takes to get that money and be on a continual reporting basis back to the city staff about the job production. It's not like the grant money that that we give out that's general fund money that doesn't have anywhere near the strings tied to it that this does. All of this equipment had to be made in the USA. They had to do an incredible amount of sourcing to find the products that they needed for their manufacturing process made in this country. So it's not an easy thing to get this level of funding. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
My question is for Nancy and Octavia, both city employees. If this does not come through, what is our recourse? I'm just saying we give away $100,000. If this does not come to fruition, I'm just saying who liable to the federal government, like to
we have a bunch of brewing equipment that we put on eBay and recover some money from. Seriously, the equipment is the leverage for the loan.
So we're doing the $100,000 for the equipment.
Right, because it's creating jobs and they're doing job training.
I want to hear it again for the equipment.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So if, God forbid, if things fail, we own that equipment.
That's the collateral.
I just want to go on record. I'm an advocate of you guys. I think I wanted to call it Brew City here at some point. I'm hoping more of these microbreweries come into our city. I think it's a great concept, and it's great taste in beer, and I think it does, it's good for the community. So I'm an advocate for it. The $100,000 seemed like an extremely large sum of money for startup, for brewery.
It is, and I think we've had that allocated now for 3 years.
Okay.
Without an applicant.
Right. I have one other question. The equipment, if it cannot be utilized to brew beer, can it be utilized for sodas, anything? I'm just water or something, I'm not trying to be facetious, but I'm trying to figure out a way, we come with $100,000.
Let me address this. I'm the one that runs, the operations in the brewery. We sourced our boiler from California. Our boiler cost $30,000. We sourced our boiler from a small equipment manufacturer in Oregon, and it cost $35,000. The chiller, yes. So yes, and we have this in our in our business plan as well. What if things happen? What if things go south? Where can we go? We can go into contract manufacturing for other breweries that don't have the capacity that we do. We can do stuff. We can make root beer. We can make seltzer water. We can do stuff like that. And, we hope it never gets to that point. But we have, backup plan A, B, C, D, E, F. This is well thought out. We've been working with the, the Community Development Association for close to 2 years now. So, it's something that's well thought out.
Thank you. I have no problem. But you answered my question. You said you have backup plans. That's what I need to hear.
Yes, 100%.
Thank you. We have somebody from the public.
Yeah, David Katz, 67 Midwood Lane. I want to go on record first as saying I'm not against the project, and I'm somebody who enjoys a good lager like anybody else. My concern looking at the backup, and some of it's been alleviated, was the over half the money from the CDBG grant. Because in the past we've had problems. I think it was the Boca del Rey Academy. It was a bit of an economic debacle, and we had to eat some money on that. And I believe that the feds came in and, for lack of a better phrase, wrote up staff for the mismanagement of that particular funding. Also, they did speak about the 30-plus above minimum wage jobs, which are referenced in the backup, and anticipated is kind of a gray word, but I'm hoping that they're not going to be, if minimum wage is $8, not going to be $9.50. The idea is to get something a bit more substantial. And it's nice to hear that you're going to reach out, hopefully, to residents of Boynton Beach, though, if I'm not mistaken, they're not legally required to hire people who live in Boynton Beach, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm hoping that that's the case. What I am asking as a resident and a taxpayer, even though this is federal money, it still ultimately is my money and their money, that they're required to come back as part of the approval of this quarterly on their progress to let the commission know what's going on, not just staff, but the commission. This is a lot of money. The commission should never end up in the brewery business, and just to make sure everything's going right. So I'm hoping that that is part of the approval. Thank you.
Just say, don't they have checkpoints and balances that they have to adhere to under the contract?
They have to report to us, and we're monitoring.
So that's going to be done anyway.
Right.
Okay.
But I'd like to make a correction from Mr. Katz. We've never funded the Boca del Rey Academy with community development block grant dollars here in Boynton.
Very good. Thank you, John. And Make a motion to...
Okay, I'd like to offer a motion that we go ahead and approve this.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Did you have 6G, Michael?
Yeah, under the January 6 comments on page 229 of the backup, there's a sentence that says, links were purchased by the CSX around Port Everglades that will connect into the FEC rails between Magnolia Park and Jupiter. I'd like to take that sentence out and substitute two sentences. Property for 2 rail links were purchased by the South County MPOs to connect the FEC and CXS rail lines, period. The first is south around Port Everglades, and the second to the north near Magnolia Park, headed to Jupiter. That's it. Move to accept the 3 separate meeting minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Okay, we're going to do bids and purchases over $100,000. This is to, I'll read this, I guess. Approve the purchase of one new 2016 Freightliner M2 4-door crew cab AEV Type 1 ambulance in the amount of $228,032 minus a trade-in allowance of a 2007 International 4300 Type 1 Unit 870 in the amount of $25,500 for the total purchase price of $2,532 from the Florida Sheriff's Association bid number 11-10-1202. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All passes. Unanimous. Code compliance and legal summons, there are none. We had the public hearing, okay. We got 9A, B, C, D, and E, I think have all been tabled to February 3rd, 2015. We'll keep them on the table. 10, will accept the city manager's report, accept the City of Boynton Beach FY 2013-2014 annual grants report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me, Vice Mayor, Debbie Majors had a presentation.
You're going to get me out.
Hi there, you're on a roll. That's okay.
I'm on a roll.
Thank you for accepting the report. Debbie Majors, Grants Coordinator.
You might not need to say anything. We might, go back and rescind. They do that.
Well, actually, this is more for your enjoyment than anything else. The grants team has worked very hard, as they do every year, to get additional funding to help further our strategic plan and our goals for the upcoming year.
Commissioner McRae, this is also to address the request to the Commission that on a monthly basis departments bring back a quarterly or annual report for the Commission to review. So Debbie Majors is kicking this off. This will be the first of many throughout the year.
I'm glad you all did not forget. Thank you.
Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to direct your attention to the screen because you're going to enjoy what's up there. We have some beautiful photos to help explain what the staff behind the scenes have been able to do with some additional grant funding. So we'll go ahead and begin. Terry, if you want to run the slideshow, please. In fiscal year 13-14, 19 grants were awarded, totaling just over $900,000. Staff also prepared and applied for 6 additional grants for just over $2 million, and also closed out 10 projects with previously funded grant awards totaling $3.6 million. I promise the screen will change in a minute. Several of these projects and programs have helped forward our strategic planning goals of creating great neighborhoods that are safe and affordable and livable, and also creating an energetic downtown and growing jobs and business opportunities. And so I'll provide a few highlights this evening, and I want to thank Charlie Crawford and probably Michael Andrus for some of the beautiful photos that you're going to see. Unfortunately, Florida leads the nation in accidental drownings, and the Recreation and Parks Department received a $5,000 grant from the USA Swimming Foundation to provide swim lessons for children free at the Denson Pool. They also partnered with the Drowning Prevention Coalition for even more lessons, resulting in 183 children receiving free swim lessons at our pool last year. And that's part of the Junior Lifeguard program as well. The Police Department Crime Prevention Unit received funding for the Holiday Shop with a Cop program, which will come up hopefully in a minute. Terry, it's supposed to go automatically, but I guess that's not going to happen. So we'll, whoops.
Next slide.
There we go.
There you go.
Police Department's Crime Prevention Unit received funding for the Holiday Shop with a Cop program. This has been held at Walmart as well as Target. And this helps provide needy children in our community an opportunity to shop for gifts for themselves and for their family members. And in addition, it also builds and strengthens relationships with the children and our police officers in Boynton Beach. And this was just one of 7 grants totaling over $193,000 that our police department received last year. Due South Brewery and Joey's Home Bakery are just 2 of several local businesses that receive grant awards as part of the Commercial Rent Subsidy or the Commercial Interior Build-Out Assistance Program through our economic development programs. So if you like gluten-free, go to Joey's. In addition to housing rehab projects and summer camp scholarships, our community development block grant funding has been awarded to several community-based organizations, and the Community Caring Center provided over 3,500 residents help from their Caring Center's food pantry and other programs. The fire department received a $967,000 SAFER grant. It was awarded from FEMA, paying 100% of the cost to hire 7 firefighters for 2 years. And this brought our fire department up to fully operational staff levels. Residents and visitors can learn about our history through a new interactive website. It's a system of trails. We have a downtown heritage trail and a cemetery heritage trail. And this was thanks to our IT department and Warren Adams, our historic planner. This was funded through the Florida Division of Historical Resources, and we have a new website now, which is www.historic.boynton-beach.org. And what you can do, if you can see the map up there, there's little yellow dotted lines, and if you follow those dotted lines starting from the east by the Intercoastal Waterway, you basically take a walk through Boynton's history, coming from the mangroves through the fishing district, down across to the old railway station, the old schoolhouse museum, and working your way further west, you can see changes in the architecture of the homes and buildings. In addition, we have the Cemetery Heritage Trail, which is Barton Memorial Park Cemetery, Sarah Sims Memorial Gardens, and Boynton Beach Memorial Park. So you can literally sit at home in your pajamas with your cup of coffee and take a tour through the city just using this interactive map. And as you click on the icons along the little pathways or at the cemetery sites, it will give you this historic significance of that particular location. If you get dressed and get out and put your running shoes on or your bicycle, you can go down the streets, and this is the kind of kiosk you'll run into, also giving you the same type of historical information. And if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do so. It's a beautiful, beautiful walk. Starting over at the Mangrove Walk at the marina, in addition to this historic route, we've also landscaped with native plants, and we've restored the wildlife habitat through a Lowe's Keep America Beautiful grant. Students at St. Mark's and Lowe's Heroes, which are their employee volunteers, came down with our city commissioners. Yes, you guys had your pant legs rolled up and you were wading in the water, and now it looks beautiful. There's new plants, and the birds and ducks are just loving it out there. Galaxy Elementary School students have formed a scrub club, and they're currently working with city staff and local experts under a $10,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, as well as a $20,000 grant from the Batchelor Foundation to restore the galaxy scrub and gopher tortoise habitat. And this is a picture of some heavy machinery that's out there under Glenda Hall's direction to remove all the exotic vegetation so the students can replant with some native seedlings and eventually restore that scrub site back to its natural state. So watch for that next year. This is Christine, our teen service librarian. Yes, she does have purple hair, and we are so happy to have her. This was her idea to create a new virtual zone for teens, and this was thanks to our state aid funding at the library. There are 2 iMacs, 2 MacBook Pro laptops, 1 iPad Air, a keyboard, and more technology, more than the teens could ever have any other place in one location. And it allows them to get creative and do what they really like to do, which is technology. Not only the teens, but the seniors were given instructions how to use technology with their cell phones and other digital devices. This is a really great return on investment. The Recreation and Parks Department received a $2,240 grant, woohoo, from the Florida Department of Elder Affairs. And with that, they gave 170 seniors individual or small group instruction on how to use their cell phones, their iPads, their tablets. And it helps keep them in touch with their family members who live far away, which is really, really important. So this is what we've done with some of the money we've received. We brought a lot of smiles to people who visit, work, and live in Boynton, and we hope to continue to do so in the future. And we thank you so much for your support of our team.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you. Don't move since I was on the prevailing side. I like to. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you just let me steamroll that over there. That was good. Thank you. Okay, would be it's the proposed resolution number R15-005, amend the FY 2014-2015 budget, which will adjust budgeted appropriations and revenue sources to provide spending authority for 2% wage increase for Boynton Beach firefighters and paramedics, IAFF Local 1891 of the International Association of Firefighters, AFL-CIO, CLC, effective October 1st, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Assistant City Manager, we're not going to have a presentation, right? Good.
No, sir, not on this item.
Okay, I'll keep going then. See, the proposed resolution number R15-006, approved collective bargaining agreement between the Boynton Beach firefighters and paramedics, IAFF Local 1891 of the International Association of Firefighters, AFL-CIO, CLC in the city. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes.
Vice Mayor, before we move, it need to be noted that we have been working with these two groups to make sure that they got a raise. You know, thank you. We did come through. Thank y'all for waiting for us as we waited for you all. We're still working with some other departments. Thank you.
You guys. Thank you. Okay, unfinished business, I see none. New business, I see none. Legal, I guess I read it and then you read it.
Ask me to read the title.
Well, you're on.
Okay. Ordinance 15001, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Garbage, Trash, Offensive Conditions, Article 3, Abandoned Property by revising Section 1051.1I4, entitled Registration of Abandoned Real Property, to allow revisions in the annual registration fee, providing for conflict, severability, codification, and an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second, we need a roll call on this, don't we?
Yes, sir. I'd like discussion.
Okay, discussion?
I'd just like a point of information. Exactly what does it mean by abandoned real property? Is that cars or something else?
These are homes that are in foreclosure, in most cases, or just about to be in foreclosure.
Understood.
Talking about residential properties in most cases.
Okay.
Roll call?
Vice Mayor Costello?
Yes.
Commissioner McCray?
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
The vote is 3-0.
Passes. Future agenda items, I see none, and this I'm sorry?
Right, just before we adjourn, when we be doing that, just before we adjourn, I'd like to say, since this is your first time through, Job well done. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Drive safely, folks.